Welcome to the video lesson for section 7.4, two-way tables. In this lesson, we're going to look at what a two-way table is and how we can interpret the entries and also the sums for each one of our tables, and also how we can fill them out. Let's go ahead and get started. To begin with, a two-way table is a frequency table that displays data collected from one source that belongs to two different categories. One category is going to be represented within your rows, and the other can be represented within your columns. Each entry in your table is called a joint frequency. So if something within our row and column is a joint frequency, and then the sums of each row and column is called a marginal frequency. For our first example, we can see that you conduct a technology survey to publish on your school's website. You survey students in the school cafeteria about the technology devices they own, and the results are shown within our two-way table. We want to find and interpret our marginal frequencies. To find our marginal frequencies, again, we're going to find the sums for our rows or our columns. So for our first column here, having a tablet computer, I'm going to add 13 and 84 together, and I get a value of 52. So there are 52 students who have a tablet computer. If I were to go ahead and add my next column together, the 124 and the 67, I would get a total of 191. So there are 191 students who do not have a tablet computer. Looking at my rows, that is those who have a cell phone or don't. So to figure out the total number of students who have a cell phone, I'm going to add my 34 and my 124 together and end up getting 158. And then for those who do not have a cell phone, I'm going to add 18 and 67 together to get 85. Now to find my total number of students surveyed, I'm going to add the sums for the columns, and I'm also going to add the sums for the rows, and they should be the same. So if I add 52 and 191, I get a total value of 243. And if I add 158 and 85, I should also get 243. Now, one kind of pitfall people do is they will add your sums for your columns and add your sums for your rows and then add them together to double this value. But just make a note that you're either going to add the sums for your columns to get your answer or add the sums from your rows to get your answer, and each time they should be the same value. For our second example, Jasmine took a survey of her classmates about their video streaming preferences. She asked which streaming service they preferred and if they usually watch TV shows or movies. Go ahead and fill in the missing information and then write a sentence that interprets each of the given values in context of the problem. So go ahead and try and fill out your marginal frequencies now and then check back in to see how you did. All right, let's see how you did. So for our marginal frequencies, again, we're going to be adding our columns or our rows together. So to figure out the number of people who like TV shows, I'm going to add together our 22 and our 14. So there are 36 total people who like TV shows. For movies, I'd add together the 3 and the 7. So there are 10 people who stream movies. If I'm looking at just Hulu, I'm going to add my 22 and my 3. So 25 total people stream through Hulu. Whereas for Netflix, 14 plus 7 is going to be 21. So I have 21 people who stream Netflix. And then for the total number of people surveyed, 36 plus 10 is going to be 46, or 25 plus 21 is again 46. So there were 46 different people who were surveyed. All right, now for our last example, we're going to go ahead and take the information from our problem and try and interpret it. So we have, when the Titanic sank, out of 2,201 total passengers, many survived, but some did not. There were 1,731 male passengers, but only 367 survived. There were 344 females that survived. We want to take this information and organize it in the two-way table below. To begin with, we're going to start off with our total amount. So we know that there were 2,201 total passengers. We also know that there was a total of 1,731 males. And then we have 367 males who actually survived. So we'll put that here. And last but not least, we have 344 females that survived. Okay, so this is all the information that is given to us from our chart. Again, we had a total of 2,201 passengers. For our total males, there was 1,731. 367 males survived and 344 females survived. All right, so we can start to fill out some more numbers here. I can get the total number of survivors by adding my joint frequencies of 367 and 344. And if I add those together, then I'm getting that there were 711 total passengers that survived. If I want to figure out the total number of males that did not survive, I can take the survivors and subtract them from the total amount. So 1731 minus 367, ends up being 1,364. So you can see that to fill out my inside joint frequencies, I can take one of my joint frequencies and subtract it from the sum for that column or row. In this case, it's a row. So 1731 minus 367 is going to get my 1364. To finish filling out one of my marginal frequencies, I can take the sum for a column and subtract it from the total amount. So 221 minus 711 will tell me how many total passengers did not survive. In this case, it's 1,490. And then doing a similar process, I can do 2,201 minus 1731 to get the total number of females that were passengers, and it's going to be 470. And then for my last joint frequency, again, I'm going to take my sum for the row, and I'm going to subtract one of my joint frequencies. So 1470 minus 344 is 126. And then we can just double check to make sure that things work out. I can add my joint frequencies to make sure I get my marginal frequencies. I can add the marginal frequencies from my two columns to make sure I get my total amount for passengers. But now that we have this filled out, we can go ahead and answer more questions if we had any. All right, now that we have our table filled out, we can go ahead and answer some questions. So the first question is, what do you notice about this data? And there's a lot of things that we can notice, but right away I noticed that there is a large amount of males compared to females on this boat. So the Titanic was definitely carrying a large amount of males. In addition, if you look at the number that survived versus the number that did not survive, a lot more passengers on the Titanic did not survive in comparison to those who did. For question B, how many female passengers were there? Again, we're going to look at our marginal frequencies for this because it's a total. So for our females, we can see that there were 470 total females. When we talk about how many people survived, again, that's another marginal frequency. Going down, we can see that there were 711 total passengers that survived. How many females survived? This is going to be a joint frequency because it's part of two different categories. You are a female and you also survived. So a female that survived, we can see that they intersect at this 344. That's going to be our answer there. How many males lived? Again, that's another joint frequency because we have two categories. We have you being a male and surviving. And we can see that those are going to intersect here at this 367. So our answer is going to be 367. For the percent that survived, we want to figure out, first off, how many survived. In this case, there are 711 out of our total 2,201. So I'm going to set that up as a fraction. So we have 711 out of 2,201. And we'd end up multiplying that whole expression by 100 to turn it into a percent. And we end up getting approximately 32% that actually survived. Using a similar process to find the percent that were females, we know that there were a total of 470 females. So I have 470 divided by 2,201. And again, we'd multiply that by 100 to turn it into a percent. And we end up getting 21.3%. Let me go ahead and write that down. For H, I, and J, we have a very important word here. They all have the word given. So given restricts the total sample space we're looking at, which means we're not looking at everyone, we're looking at a specific category. For question H, we have given that the passenger was male, what's the probability that he survived? So I'm only looking at my males, which means I have this 1,731 total males. That's going to be my denominator because I'm just considering those people. Of those males, what's the probability that they survived? Well, of the 1,731 total males, 367 of them survived. So my answer is 367 out of 1,731. Now I'm not going to actually divide this and multiply by 100 because I'm not asking for a percent, I'm asking for a probability. So I can leave my answer as a fraction. Looking at I, we want to know what's the given that a person died, what's the probability that they were male? Okay, so given that they died means I'm looking at that total category. So for my people that died, there were a total of 1,490. So I'm going to put that as my denominator. And then now we're looking at if they died, what's the probability that they were in fact male? So from this category, I have that 1,364 of them were actually male. So that's going to be my numerator. For our final given question, we have given that the person survived, what was the probability that they were female? Okay, so again, we're looking at a category of those who survived, which means I'm only considering these 711 people. And of these 711 people that survived, how many of them were actually female? We can see that there were 344 female that survived. So that's going to be my numerator. K says, based on your findings, describe what you have learned about the probability of surviving the sinking of the Titanic. Well, in general, if you were an individual on the Titanic, you probably weren't going to survive. We can see again that 1,490 of the total 2,201 actually did not survive. So the actual chance of surviving is 711 out of 2,201, which is not very good. That's less than half. For I, predict what the table might look like if instead of male and female, the data was taken from first class and second class. Historically speaking, we noticed that first class citizens are treated a lot different than second class citizens. So if we're looking at survival rate, the first class citizens would most likely have a much higher survival rate. All right, guys, that does it for notes for this section. Go ahead and get started on the homework, and good luck.